Okay, this is, I'm dressed the same as my trying to conceive video because, that I just did a minute ago. Because I ran out of time, I needed to update on adoption, so overlook it. Okay, this is going to be, I got my notes. I have to make sure I got them because there's a lot I want to talk about. The adoption update. The last video on the adoption was February 18th. It's now April 6th. Okay, here's where we are at with the adoption. The last video I talked about how we were moving from our original agency, which was a level 1, level 2 foster care agency. And we thought that they did adoptions, and apparently they don't. They just do foster care, and we want to do both. So that's in a long series of videos, and anybody who's watched the videos knows where I'm at with that. That we decided to move our license. And we had found another agency who would do the adoptive home study. I'm sorry, you can hear the cars, but it was just so pretty. I just wanted to do it outside. So we decided to move our license. We found another agency. And I think I talked about how we talked to several agencies, but how it's going to be like $1,600 plus to do the adoptive home study. Well, that has changed also. In the last video, I had said that we'd sent off all our paperwork to a new agency. Well, like the same week that we had sent off the application to all of that, we knew someone in the community who had all of a sudden ended up with a baby. And, you know, we were like, what? You know, how did they get a baby so fast? I mean, you know, he's like between 6 months and a year old. Anyway, so I asked, they own a store here, so I pulled over and asked some of the people who work there. I was like, you know, what's up with that kind of thing. Something made me pull over, you know, because I had really been praying about it and was like, you know, why is this being so tough for us to work out? But whatever. So I pulled over and I asked, and the girl who works there had actually put the people who own the store in touch with her mother, who happened to be a foster parent in the neighboring county over from us, which is adjacent to our property, really close. And then I called her, and she told me about her social worker, and I called her social worker. Her social worker called me back and said, you know, don't pay this other agency, let me help you. And she was so lovely. And not that she was trying to undercut that other agency, because it's just on principle, she felt like, you know, if we're trying to adopt children from the foster care system, we shouldn't have to pay extra for certain things that basically we've already been through, you know. So, you know, not to talk badly about the other agency, I'm not doing that. It's just, this was a way for us to continue on the path that we were already on without having to restart it with another agency. So, our neighboring county, we met with this social worker. She came to our house that same week. She was really quick about it. She herself had been in foster care and was adopted. And her own daughter, she had adopted through foster care. So she has a different perspective than a lot of the people who work in this field. Therefore, she's very diligent on trying to help families either reunify or be able to adopt. She is so lovely. I am just so thankful. It was the answer to our prayers. She immediately started our home study. We have one more visit with her, and our adoptive home study will be complete. So by the end of next week, we'll be done with our home study, adoptive home study. I am so excited. So excited. Finally. And she's also requesting that our license be moved from our current agency, which is a little bit of ways away from here, to her office. And she also will help us pursue and request, not pursue is the wrong word, but inquire about children through adoptive kids. And the one particular little boy we're interested in. I've emailed his social worker back, and she emailed me back the first couple of times, but, you know, I've been trying to keep her updated, but I haven't heard back from her. So I don't know if that's a bad sign or not. He may already be placed for adoption. We're still going to pursue it. Our new worker in the neighboring county is so wonderful. She's going to get all of our paperwork done and submit that to his worker in Missouri, because that's where the little boy's at. And if it doesn't work out with this particular little boy, there are so many other children available. So, and she's told us about another thing that I want to talk about. I don't know that I'll talk about it in this video. Let's see how I'm doing on time. Anyway, so one more visit. She finishes her home study next week. In the meantime, she has requested that our license be changed to her office from the private agency to the local Department of Children's Services office here, or one county over, not in the county that we're in, but she said that could take up to 90 days. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. What's 3 more months? It's okay. One little issue that I had is with our old agency, where we had emergency placement. It was the weirdest thing to me. You know, we don't do the foster care for money at all. I mean, that's not the reason that we do it. But there was a little issue with the check, like she couldn't send it to our address because our physical address and our mailing address was different, and she kept trying to send it to the physical address, and I was like, I'm not changing my mailing address to my physical address because, you know, we're only staying in this cottage, you know, temporarily. At some point we will be moved back to our own property. So I wasn't moving all the mail. I just go check the mail once a week at our old address, at our home, at our property. And she was saying, our new social worker said, well, you know, they can send it to wherever you tell them to send it to, because it's, you know, issued from wherever you took the child from. So, but this worker, the check went back to their office, and I'm like, well, I'll come get it. And I don't know, we're just going round and round. The old worker, the one who I had the most miscommunication with, she's like, well, you just go tell the post office not to send the check back. And I don't know, it's crazy. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on that. It's just really weird. The older agency is really, it's like pulling teeth to get anything done, the way they do things. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. I actually had to go over to the old office and get as much of the copy of our paperwork as I could. And at first, in like email, she sounded a little bit, meh, you know, I can't give you that. But our current social worker said, you know, you have a right, it's your file. You have a legal right to everything in the file. The other worker was not so agreeable on the email, but then when I went over there, she gave me a lot. Not everything, but a lot. So I was surprised by that. I know I'm rambling. I really want to say the names of these agencies, but I won't yet. So, so now we're going with the local DSS nearby, and it's not going to cost anything extra at this point. We're not going to have to pay the $1,600 to the other agency that I had already sent the paperwork off to. I called them and told them, you know, thank you, but no thank you. At this point, you know, we're just going to wait, see how it works out with this. But it was just really a miracle that I even found her and that it worked out. It was really a blessing. So I am really going long, I know. Let me see what I covered. Okay, I covered the new agency. I covered the new worker. Covered the home study, and that there's no charge for that. And we just got one more visit, and we're done with that. And we're just waiting on the license to be moved now. So sometime in the next 3 months, and that's okay. 3 months is not that long. Well, it sort of feels like forever, but okay. Everything will be set up so then we can start moving forward with an actual placement, a permanent placement, not just emergency placement. So that's, you know, really what I wanted to talk about. That's the bulk of where we're at now. So, almost done with adoptive home study, in the process of having the license moved, and we'll hopefully be looking at some referrals within the next 90 days or so, or right after. So I will keep you guys updated as I know on that. Couple things I did want to mention, and I may go into a part 2 on this. You guys, if you're pursuing foster care and adoption, there's the cutest book out there from Nia Vardalos, my Big Fat Greek Wedding actress and writer and director and all that. I love her. So, and I followed her story too about the foster care and adoption. And on most things, I feel like, you know, a kindred spirit, like, you know, similar experiences. Her book came out, Instant Mom, and April 1st, a few days ago. So I bought it through Amazon and put it on my Kindle and read it. And I laughed, I cried, it's wonderful. You guys have to buy it. Instant Mom by Nia Vardalos. It's amazing. I love it. I can relate so wholeheartedly to most of what is in there. If I could just sit down and have a conversation with her and be like, you're so not alone in the way that you have felt. I have felt that way. I love this book, so get this book. if I could have, it's like she went into my brain on most things and really just wrote down what I would have written. You know, we've had some fertility struggles, not a lot. Most of ours are adoption struggles, but this is still the same struggle of wanting to be a mom. So let me tell you, there's just no feeling like that in the world. We're born as women, most of us, not all of us, with a desire to be a mom. And to have that blocked by whatever, whether it's infertility or whatever the reason, is just devastating. There are no words to describe how that feels. And I just really related to her and her experience. And I really like the fact that she's passionate about advocating through the foster care system here in the United States. Not that there's anything wrong with any other type of adoption. We tried for years and years international adoption, and I would love to still be able to do that. Not going to happen. It's just too much money. Not for us, anyway. But I really related to that. And you know what else I like about the book? You know, because when she did her interviews, her TV interviews, it was, you know, it was really positive. It was upbeat, and it was very much like, oh, and we got her, and she called me mommy, and it was great. In the book, she goes to tell you the actual struggles and that were a blessing, you know, to help her daughter relax and feel safe, and her daughter's transition and their transition into the family that they are today. And I loved it because I thought, wow, you know, it sounds so wonderful, but you know, you just don't get a child that doesn't have some sort of adjustment or trial of, not trial, that's not the right word, or struggle to adapt to the changes in their life and to the family and what the family went through. So in the book, she actually goes really in detail about their experience. And I don't want to give it all away, but I really, really love it because it was like, oh, there you go. That's more realistic to me. And I loved the fact that it was so real. I want her to be able to talk about that through the book, but I love the fact that she could, you know, on the TV interviews, it's like, tell it like it is, you know. I mean, it's wonderful that you say, yes, it was this and this and this, you know, it's so great. But I love the book that it went even further into, you know, yes, she called me mommy, but, you know, she also had a hard time adjusting, you know, the sleeping and things like that. So it wasn't, you felt, okay, I can handle this because I know what to expect. I see what's coming because I see somebody else who's went through that and what they had to endure. And well, not endure, endures is the wrong word. What they had to experience to get through that part of their journey to where they're at in their journey now. So I just really love her book. She just rocks. I just love her as an actress, as a writer, as a woman, as an author, as an adoptive mom, or as a mom. I shouldn't say adoptive mom. But as someone who knows what it's like to struggle to get to the point to where you get to be a mom. Love it. Get her book. Love her. And the book. It's awesome. Okay. So, Instant Mom on Amazon. All right. I'm going to do a part 2 or a part 3, whatever. It's not really part 1, 2, and 3. It's just different subject matter. But there's another adoptive subject matter that I want to talk about in another video. I'm going to talk about another family's experience, not in detail, but and about how it's kind of meshed over into our experience, and then also about what the new social worker in the county over who's doing our home study has talked to us about, another subject matter that, you know, I was always interested in over here in the back of my mind, but I'm going to do that in the next video, okay? Alright, so in this video, it's the adoption update about our agencies, and then just a shout out to the Instant Mom book by Nia Vardalos. Love it. Go get it. Go get it. Okay.